Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's edition of Tales from Outer Space, where I take stories from across the internet and read them for your entertainment. The first story tonight is called Persistence Hunter, written by new PSA to NVM. The time traveler wondered how the hell did he end up in prehistoric times for a hot minute, and no more than a minute. It was all the downtime that he had before finding himself speeding towards a tree and, later, wondering what the fuck was that thing full of teeth that circled his barky refuge amidst the canopy. When the creature decided the man from the future was more trouble than it worth, he came down from the tree and realized he was thirsty. Once he managed to quell his thirst, he noticed he was hungry. Then that he was tired. Then that he was really not okay with the sounds coming from the dark, and so on and so forth. It is truth unchanged by animal husbandry, electricity and steam engine, or internet, that humans are social creatures. They are meant to be a part of a group, and when they see themselves without one in the middle of a raw, unforgiving nature, well, better not to think about it and find a suitable tribe to join ASAP. The Portuguese speaker by birth, East Asian by genetics, stood like a sore thumb amidst the light brown people of wherever this place was, and it turns out that xenophobia is not a vice exclusive to modern politics. The first tribe he found tried to kill him. The second enslaved him. The third was friendly. Really friendly, and although he didn't make sense of a word spoken, he could comprehend the gaze that huge guy threw his way, and he was pretty sure those inflatable sitting donuts were a few thousand years away. So he bolted. He eventually found a tribe not particularly interested in stabbing him, tying him, or offering him prison friendliness, and for that he was grateful. Unsurprisingly, there wasn't much the 21st century man could offer the group of hunter-gatherers. But when Kala rose to check what her daughter was crying about, she found her calmly resting in the stranger's arms. Long, this was his superpower. The eldest of 4 siblings, and who even remembers how many more cousins, had a knack to pick up the unspoken messages of the younger ones. In no time he had become an unofficial nanny of the tribe. Perhaps the children were amused by the pale man in their midst. Perhaps they found funny the silly words he spoke. Perhaps this was, for whatever reason, an unwanted job the tribe was glad to dump onto his shoulders. Whatever the case, he was glad to have a way to pay back the tribe for his food, clothes, and shelter. One day came when a tribesman came to him, his right hand holding a spear close to his torso, his left arm stretched in his direction, holding another one. He picked it up and, through a lot of gesticulating and grunting, he managed to grasp that he was being asked to hunt. He noticed that the childcare was primarily a woman's job. He did notice the grannies of the tribe throwing some cheerful and mocking giggles his way. He'd be lying if he said he wasn't worried the tribe might start seeing him in a more pinkish light. But hunting was decisively a man's job. While he had, inevitably accompanied by his flock of children, taken part in gathering grain, herbs, and tubers with the rest of the tribe, even eggs once, that was fun and tasty day. It was always the men who brought the carcasses. If he was being asked to take part in the hunt, it was because, finally, the tribe acknowledged him as a man. Walking along his fellow huntsmen, he eventually halted and started gesticulating. The huntsman pointed west, then himself, east, then the time traveler. It was unlikely that he was trying to flank the prey or execute some other complex maneuver with someone who, clearly, didn't speak his language. Seemed like the traveler was meant to proceed on his own. While walking alone in the wilderness was something that would have scared him a while back. He felt much more comfortable in these lands by now. He had learned of the predators that lurked the land. They preferred times to strike, the metaphorical roads the tribe was supposed to steer clear. He knew that he would be all right, and, although he was not an experienced hunter by any means, he knew what he was supposed to do. Ever since learning of the means by which his ancestors had conquered the world, the traveler took upon himself to uphold his proud heritage. Every year he ran the half-marathon of Sao Paulo, and celebrated the year's end by running the race of São Silvestre. His muscles were kept in peak condition, his lungs at full capacity, and his sweat glands working steady to feed the superpower no other creature on Earth could hope to match. Yes, he could not sneak on a prey. Yes, he had never used a spear in his life, but none of that mattered. His species reigned supreme over the land, not because they were the fastest, the strongest, but because they never gave up. He would never give up. It took no time for him to find a naruru, as the locals called, an equine of chestnut fur. Smaller than a modern horse or zebra, but who could feed the tribe for some good few days, who would feed the tribe for glorious days to come. He approached the pack of about a dozen and a few more fowls. A scout definitely spotted him. as it looked directly in his direction. Maybe he was supposed to throw his spear, but he wasn't sure if he would hit anything, or worse, would. If the spear pierced the prey and it ran away, he wasn't sure if he could retrieve it, or how long he would have to remain unarmed in the meantime. No, this wasn't a game of strength, but endurance. His weapon was not the sharp piece in his hands, but patience. He sprinted towards the pack, his arms flailing in a way, his lungs echoing a war cry that modern man forsake, but never forgot. The pack fled, just as expected. He paused, ready to do it again, as he would many times as necessary. For he was a hunter. He was a predator. He was a human. Dagger came looking for her husband, worried that she was with his long-delayed return. She sighed with relief once spotting him atop a hill. She walked to him. He stood erect, spear on the ground, his gaze locked in the horizon. Reaching him, Dagger did not notice any reaction to her arrival. Val stood immobile, hypnotized, eyes wary of missing a single moment of something his mind could not grasp in its entirety. She grabbed the arm of her husband, who still didn't show any reaction, and took her eyes to the same sight he saw. There he was. The traveler pursued the game. His arms waved in the air, the war cry echoed through the plain. The prey ran. He pursued it, again and again. "What in the holy oxa is this Curtis hare doing?" "I have no freaking clue. I asked him to help check the traps, and that maniac has been running and screaming at this poor Naruru the whole morning." Story number 2. PSA on under-caffeinated humans, written by Dominaria. Important shipwide notice from Captain Volreet. High importance. Please confirm receipt and understanding of message contents. Ignoring contents may cause interspecies incidents and risks to health. Species involved: humans. Notice topic: under-caffeinated humans. Source: ship-species relations, ship health services, captain's nest. We are aware of multiple incidents involving humans during dawn break and end of shifts regarding human mannerisms undergoing changes at these times. Upon consultation with various experts, we've determined this is due to humans going through withdrawals of the substance known as caffeine. It is known that caffeine, with a human molecular formula C8H10N5O2, is indeed toxic and or poisonous to many non-human crewmates on board. Please consult health services for a full list of species and the effects caffeine has on your species. We are aware humans will offer the substance to many crew members that have been identified as sleepy and tired. This is a goodwill gesture that humans will do regardless of your species, as many are unaware of the negative effects of caffeine on your respective species. This gesture will often happen with very little planning or thought involved. This will be important to keep in mind, due to caffeine sources will be increased shipwide to counter the effects that humans lacking this chemical suffer from. You can identify a human experiencing caffeine withdrawal through these symptoms. 1. Complaints of pain in their cranial region. 2. Lack of energy and verbal complaints that they are tired. 3. Increased aggression. 4. Loss of cognitive function. 5. Pain or stiffness through the body. 6. Nausea. 7. The following phrase in some form: "I just need my expletive cup." 8. Decreased attention. The best way to handle a human suffering withdrawals is to supply them with this chemical in their preferred form. Please consult with your caffeine-dependent human beforehand on what their requested form is, as an incorrect form will only increase the symptoms or may cause other mental and physical health conditions. Some humans will even have prescriptions for higher potency forms that can be requested by team leads to have on hand. Some forms include, but are not limited to: 1. Coffee, a black substance produced by running hot water through ground-up beans from a human homeworld. This may include additives that vary depending on the human. Be warned, humans find what additives are used, or lack thereof, to be very personal tradition. Dispensers will be installed in many break rooms where humans frequent, as well as most food service locations. 2. Energy drinks. This form takes many types. Those who work in the technical services, maintenance, and engineering departments will be having a dispenser of this type installed in their respective break rooms. These will be in a very large can and can have a wide range of other chemicals. If you are interested in sampling this form, please consult health services prior to the attempt. Monitoring of your health may be required. 3. Energy shots. This form comes in a very small vial and is very concentrated form. This will only be available direct from health services. No non-human species is permitted to consume this form without a prescription. Humans must keep track of this form at all times. 4. Pouches. This form will come in a round container full of cloth-like pouches humans place in their lips. This can be confused with nicotine pouches, as is available as prescription only. This form is forbidden to any non-human species. Sodas. These are in standard, smaller form, contain lesser quantities of caffeine, with some types having none at all. Please consult health services before consumption, as there are many different types of sodas with different chemical compositions. Other names for this type include pop, cola, coke, bubbly, and more. Humans have been known to find offense to using the wrong word for this drink, so please show caution when identifying this beverage verbally. 6. Water additives. There are a wide range of formats, from powder to liquid. They are added directly to water and have a wide range of potency and chemical composition. For health reasons, beyond caffeine, please do not drink water from a human's water container. 7. Various teas. While this is a more natural source of caffeine, it is still not recommended for non-human consumption due to the many other chemicals that the process can produce. This is made by boiling various desiccated or fresh plants and often will have additives. While this is an expansive list, it is not exhaustive. Some human solid foods will also have caffeine as an additive, so please consult with humans about what the food they are offering contains. This is good practice due to the existence of other substances found in human foods, such as the additive human plant corn. We are aware that it is odd to supply crew members with what is confirmed to be an addictive chemical. However, the traditions for this chemical are heavily integrated with human culture, with many humans reporting a dependency on the substance. In moderated doses for humans, it also serves as a boost that reduces the effects of lack of sleep. If a human not known for ingesting caffeine is ingesting larger quantities of this chemical, do not be alarmed, but avoid interactions with the human until the effects of the chemical take place. If a human is clearly suffering from withdrawals, please refrain from interacting with the human until they confirm the chemical has taken effect or has initiated interactions themselves. We are unaware of just how holding a container of this chemical lessens the withdrawal symptoms so quickly for some individuals, but the time it takes to have the needed effects vary based on the individual. Thank you for your time on this matter. Health services, the human cultural representative, and food services are open for further questions about this chemical if you have them. Remember, we fly as one or drift apart. End of story. I'd greatly like to thank our Tier 5 channel members, Casper Arnholtz, John Creighton, Manatharia, 050, Dragzoon WRE, and Elijah Silvercross. Thank you very much.